Are you looking to create influence and build your own personal brand? Because in this video, we start the personal branding series. So stay tuned and watch all the way to the end because I'm sharing the most damaging type of content to your personal brand. Welcome back, mi gente. I'm Jay Franco, and in this video we're talking about personal branding. Yes, with this video starts off the personal brand series, and in this video we're talking about how to build the personal brand and how to look the part, specifically on searching and auditing your own self to see what is out there right now and if it's congruent with the personal brand that you want to develop. So what's a personal brand? A personal brand is trying to use your career, your life, your personality, your education, all those skills and that background to create influence for yourself and to develop a brand. All of the brands out there, whether it's Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, they all share those nuances that make them a brand. So what are those nuances that you have that you can leverage to create your own personal brand? All right, so let's get started. We need to build an online presence that reinforces all of those nuances. When someone looks you up online, they need to see a strong presence of fresh content coming from you in your area of expertise. So in order to look the part, you're gonna have to do these following things. All right, the first thing you need to do is audit your search results. Have you ever Googled yourself? It's so important to Google yourself because you don't know what's really out there. And that's what we're talking about in this video, is auditing yourself. The next thing you're gonna do when developing a personal brand is clean up any of the content that you see out there that does not fit the desired image that you want to project. Next, build an online presence that really reflects who you are and reflects your brand and your expertise. Lastly, follow a personal branding strategy and stick to it. Stick to the timeliness of the brand and the strategy that you chose for your brand. All right, so as I said, in this video, we're gonna talk about auditing yourself. So the first thing you're gonna do is, as I mentioned before, is Google yourself. Googling yourself is so important because you don't know what's really out there. Have you ever Googled yourself? Comment right now if you've Googled yourself. Just comment in the comments, leave me a comment and say, hey, I've Googled myself. Or no, I have never Googled myself at all. So drop it in the comments, let me know either one. Next thing is, when building your personal brand, you need to know where you stand in the search results. When I was a makeup artist, you can actually Google Jay Zubire, J-Z-U-B-I-R-E, and I still come up for those search results. So when I pivoted my brand and I went from being a makeup artist and being in the fitness industry and living that lifestyle for so many years and being very well known and a thought leader and having my own personal brand in that area of expertise, and I decided to pivot once I finished my bachelor's and my first grad program, and then especially during when I entered my second graduate program at USC, I decided to pivot and go in and redo my personal brand as a marketer. When I did that, I Googled myself and I made sure to see what was out there in Google. And what I found were quotes, pictures, images, things that people tagged me on, even podcast episodes that were featuring me as a makeup artist speaking about personal brand and branding. Oddly enough, that's what I do now. I just don't do it the way I used to do it before. But here's the thing, it's very important to search through Google and comb through it and see what comes up for your name. For me, I didn't want to spend all of that time trying to delete myself. So what I did is I hit the reset button and I started all over again. So I took my first name and my last name, because in Mexico you have two last names. You have your paternal and your maternal. So I decided to drop my paternal and stay with my maternal last name. So I took my name that I have always had, which is Jay, and instead of Jay Zubire, I pivoted over to my personal brand, which is Jay Franco. And when I did that, I was able to start all brand new and fresh. If your search results still resemble your personal brand that you want to create, that you want to emanate, make sure that you just kind of delete the things that shouldn't be there and leave the things that should be there. Don't worry about what you find. Sometimes when you're searching, you may have this like knee-jerk reaction and be like, oof, I don't want that to show up. So there are some things that you need to deal with, and they are some things that you need to delete. They are probably things that you did when you were in high school that are coming up right now. Maybe you were featured in the high school newspaper, or you were part of some organization in high school and that you're no longer associated with, or those things don't really fit and match up your brand. It's okay to delete them, and it's definitely okay to remove those pieces of content from the web. You have to know everything that you're dealing with when you're coming up with a personal branding strategy. That's why it's so important to Google yourself, because you need to know what's there that's gonna come back out later on. If there are some social media profiles that you need to delete that still have your old stuff on there, make sure to delete them. Or in my case, I had a Facebook page that was dedicated to me as a makeup artist. So what I did is I made a post note in my Facebook header, and I said that this page would be coming down, and if you wanted to follow me and my new endeavors, you can follow me at this page. So I took all of my fans and I transferred them over to my new page. So you can also do that too. And I actually did convert everything on that Facebook page that I used to have before as a makeup artist into J. Franco the Marketer. Alright, so one key thing to remember here is to make sure that anything that does not fit your personal brand or your vision of your personal brand, make sure you just kind of get rid of it, And although cleaning up can be tough, especially if you're not particularly active on social media, there is a potential that a previous post years ago can potentially come back and harm your personal brand in the future. That's why it's so important to take the time to Google yourself, find the content that really will align with your brand, and try to delete or update the content that does not align with your brand. Alright, so one of the things that I do when I'm working with personal branding clients is I go through and I audit them. And a lot of times I focus on trying to find these specific types of content because they are the most damaging to your personal brand that you're barely starting to establish. Alright, so let's go over the most damaging pieces of content to a brand new personal brand. Alright, the first piece of content that you need to watch out for that could potentially ruin your personal brand is unprofessional behavior. This is really important. Maybe when we were younger, we weren't as smart as we are now, so it's so important to make sure that you are aware of any unprofessional behavior that you had on the internet, on any social platform that can come back and bite you in the behind. Alright, so and also in keeping with that, unprofessional communication style. Unprofessional communication style is extremely important for those of you that are developing a personal brand within a professional setting. Let's say, for instance, realtors, politicians, or anyone that is literally in that type of limelight, pastors, motivational speakers, anyone that is, again, as I said, in that type of spotlight. If you're trying to develop a personal brand so that you can move yourself into that position of power and influence, it's so important that you are aware of any unprofessional communication that you may have posted, and be very aware of it, because that is where people will dig up and will find and will share with all of your friends, family, and your fans. Another damaging piece of content that you need to remove from all of your social pages is anything that's drinking or drug use related. If you're trying to create personal influence, it's very important that you disassociate yourself with anything that has to do with drinking or with drug use. Another piece of damaging content is criminal behavior or even polarizing views, sexually explicit content, violence or bullying, as well as bigoted behavior. All of these types of content should be really examined and removed if you are considering creating a personal brand for yourself. Alright guys, so after you have cleaned up all of your social pages, you can really start to think about the personal brand that you want to portray and that you're trying to achieve. Create your own personal brand online by identifying with those unique elements that make you who you are. All right, everyone, so make sure you stay tuned to the next video as we dive into what is your personal brand. What does that mean to you, and how are you going to build your own personal brand? This is when we dive deep into strategy next week, so make sure that you keep on watching the personal branding series. Y como siempre, mi gente, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, where I bring you weekly innovative insight to create a personal brand by mastering your mindset, making your mark, and marketing it on social media. Nos vemos la próxima semana.